Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the official ARK Podcast number 47. My name is Brad, and I'm here with the core team. Your host tonight, as always, our dedicated leader, Atlas. The floor is yours, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ARK. This is our 47th podcast, and today, Saturday, we were just about really ready to go ahead and launch all the contracts, make everything live. We did find a discrepancy coming from our syndicate founder list. There was an error that happened here through one of our admins who was in charge of running that list. And we're really glad that we were able to identify it in time, as that member did have 67 referrals. That person's put a lot of work in. And one of the great syndicate founders that have been here, invested in the project since really March, that they contributed. And it is important to all of us here on the team, and I think to everyone that's an investor, to make sure that no one gets left behind or is going to be in a position that by a mistake, a human error is going to really cost them a lot in the whole scheme of a very long-term position and investment. So with that said, when you find one small issue, you have to be responsible, diligent, and conduct all of the research to make sure, double check, triple check that everyone from that list is absolutely in the right order, in place. We thank you all for your patience through this process, but it is imperative and extremely vital that everything is perfect. And we've said that many times. So with that, we also have some updates for you. We have launched the ARK token contract. Liquidity has been added, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and post that for you here. Give me one second. And don't try to run and degen this, okay? It's not live for trading. Let's be very clear with that. So yeah, let's go here and post it for all you great folks. Here is ArkFi paired with BUSD for you all to go ahead and see a total supply of 800,000 tokens with a market cap of $4.2 million. And that is set at a price of $5.25. Guys, let's get this crypto. Let's get this going. We are set for tomorrow. The team will be continuing here to do their work, launching out the contract. Legacy is live, and we will be unlocking it. As we know, there's a couple of folks, I'm not going to say who, but they're backing the truck up to pick up the legacy NFTs. It is a fantastic component and part of the investment here to be a partner with ARK into the taxes, into the external revenues, the DAO mechanism as well. In about 30 to 35 minutes, that will be accessible through the D app. With that, the LP, the bond LP that you're currently able to purchase, that in about the same time is going to be deactivated until tomorrow's launch. So if there's anybody out there that for whatever purpose or reason, they want to go ahead and lock in their bond LP before launch, this is the time. Go ahead and do so. If you're hearing this at a later time or tomorrow, early in the morning, you're already sleeping, you're in Europe, you're in Asia, and you come to the D app and you see that you cannot purchase bond LP, ladies and gentlemen, do not worry. You're going to have an opportunity to go ahead and do so before launch and after launch. And if you want to go ahead and participate and purchase your legacy NFTs, you will be able to do so as long as it's past that 35, 40-minute threshold that the team is working on here. So let me see here 1 second. If we have any further updates, I'll be right with you. All right, folks, and we do want to give you an update. With the migration of the legacy NFT contract, the rewards have been paid to the legacy NFT holders. You will not be able to see that on your dashboard as the system is being migrated on the back end. However, if you look in your wallet, you'll be able to see that you have been deposited. We spoke about this a couple of hours ago, and we had confirmation here from legacy NFT holders that they had received those payments. And guys, we got to tell you, I mean, there's some folks that had around $231 in rewards. Let's get this crypto. Fantastic. One quick second.
That's awesome.
And to stay in line with the schedule of 12 a.m. UTC, we're going to manually distribute again the rewards right now. You will not be able to see them again until we tie the whole system up before the launch. So that's going to help us. So when tomorrow comes at midnight, the whole system taking place on an automated basis, we are making sure to stay with the schedule. Let's get this crypto. Are there any questions or comments at this point? Any questions or comments? All right, to add a little bit to what we said, as we're going ahead and manually executing those rewards, you will not see them on your dashboard or in your wallet. That's going to be all happening when the system is tied in the back end. So from my understanding here, you're going to be able to see that coming tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on that part as well. Mr. Brett Norton, do you have any updates, anything you would like to comment on?
No, nothing specific. I think you got us caught up really well. Thanks for the feedback. You're getting a real time there with Mr. Green and the team, so that's great that everybody's staying updated. Appreciate the transparency. Obviously, nobody likes it when things get delayed, pushed out. Some negative comments in the the Telegram group there, but I think for the most part, people are pretty understanding. We appreciate the support. Unforeseen things happen and we have to proceed cautiously, and we don't want to do something that trips it up for somebody. If there's, a handful of investors that are upset, that can cause an even bigger problem. So, I think the right thing to do is take a step back, stay vigilant, make sure that we're doing everything right, and make sure it's perfect, when we launch. So no one wants to see, another revision or something happen after launch. That's a worst case scenario. So it's better to, push things out. And like I said, yeah, not everybody's going to like it, and we probably don't like it the most. So it's difficult for us to handle. It's a lot of stress, and we appreciate the positivity and just keeping it light and positive in the chat helps. People stay motivated and the team working hard and making sure that stress doesn't affect their performance in any way, because that can happen if you get down or people don't feel like they have that same spirit from the community, then that can affect their work as well. So let's stay positive and look forward to a launch tomorrow. Everybody keep thinking that intent, keep that intent in your mind, and let's stay positive.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add a little bit to that, Brett. The people that are not happy and vocal about it, I think they would have a totally different position if it was something that would have affected them. And I think before we, lash out about, a delay, need to keep in mind, if it was happening to you, would you want the team to take care of it before launch? And I think if people look at it that way, there's nothing they can do but applaud the team for doing what y'all did.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Look, we're doing the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is not what everybody wants. But I'm pretty sure if we took a poll and asked, the whole community, hey, do you want to go ahead and launch? understanding that there's a mistake that we found, manual human error that happened here on the admin side, giving, us the information here as developers and leaving, someone that's been here invested since March, who has believed in this project behind just because of the pressure of everyone else that's just wanting to go ahead and start earning their rewards. I think that wouldn't, really fly. I don't think that, anyone with any real, community understanding and empathy for others would want to be a part of that. And us as the team having to make these decisions, we understand that we want everyone here to get a win, that everyone is on a fair, balance, schedule, as well as if there's any issues or errors. We had a couple people that had wallets compromised. These are serious things. We can't ignore that. There's a point where we can't make any changes. There's a point where, the plane took off, the boat sailed. But if we understand that there's a passenger, there's a piece of luggage, there's something going on that really would affect, someone's, position here, understanding that this is a multi-year investment, then I think that would be very irresponsible and not something that I would personally want to be a part of. So overall, I think we're all understanding, and the commitment is there from the investors. They have spoken, they have invested, some folks here for a very, very long time, and we will not ignore, and we will not, just leave people behind. So I think the spirit, go ahead.
It's part of that mantra that, you've established all through this, and about not leaving anybody behind. We want to do this together with everybody. We want everybody to prosper from it. So I think it goes right along with everything you've said from the beginning.
Thank you, Chris. And look, that's the right way. I don't think there's any if or but about it. And if there's anybody that has an issue with it, look, we apologize, but we have to do the right thing. We always will do the right thing. And we understand that there's situations and variables. There's a couple people kind of came in last minute with small details, folks that had chances more than twice to go ahead and update their referrals if they made a mistake. And we're not going to stop everything for those folks that, for whatever reason, did not partake and follow instructions. But this was an issue that was major and important, and in a way that also afforded us more time to take care of those people that had other issues as well. So look, we're I think in a great position. Tomorrow we'll go ahead and get started. We'll be here working hard tonight, up early, and just fine tuning. There's absolutely, I think, a great advantage of having that extra time for everything to be perfect. I'm waiting for some confirmations, as well as we want to make sure that on that list that was handled by an individual here in the admin team, understanding, not to place any blame on anyone. We're all human. And when you're doing manual things, that certain communication, I've seen it, had several changes happen, and I can understand someone's very busy. They missed out on a certain part of the communication, or just got lost in the shuffle and got things, backwards. And that's okay. We have to also understand that everyone is human, but if we find it, we need to go ahead and fix it. We need to also make sure that that person maybe under that stress didn't make any other errors. And again, guys, thank you so much. Are there any other questions so far? Okay, folks, we see that our man in Japan, CryptoYan, is up and ready to get back to work here with us. So we're going to go into a dev team meeting and leave you folks to hang out if you want here with the admins, and keep the podcast open for you guys to be able to engage and have a conversation. We'll be back.
Let's get this crypto.
Let's go. Oh, god damn!
Oh yeah, let's get this crypto.
Let's go. Sound effect. Just in case people didn't realize that it's created from multiple community members' voices, and obviously SK with his very famous voice. So I'm not sure if we are expecting Z tonight. I think he was going to come through with some alpha, but he hasn't joined as of yet. Has anybody got any questions or comments? How are you feeling about the launch tomorrow, Chris?
I'm feeling great about it. Everything's ready to go. Got some liquidity added. Just got to flip that switch and then watch everybody buy.
Gonna get the popcorn out.
It'll be a good day tomorrow.
For sure, for sure. What about you, SK?
Just waiting for it, bruh. And really going into the new year, I want to see how that mobile app just performs, because that's going to be the crux to onboarding people very easily compared to anything that we're used to. So that's going to be amazing. And then to see, all of the other utilities that are coming with the hedge fund stuff, the DAO votes, where those funds are allocated. It's going to be really, really clean and awesome 2023 for the project.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm very much looking forward to that mobile app, just taking those barriers away and making it so much easier to onboard the everyday investor or non-crypto investors. It will certainly make things a lot easier. I've said it a few times, but I see that app as an opportunity to introduce someone to ARK every time you leave your house. It really makes it super, super easy. And I, for one, cannot wait for that. I think the external revenues is another huge part you just mentioned there. I think personally for me, the legacy NFTs, the most important utility that they provide is being a part of the DAO and actually having a say in how those funds are used and working closer to the team. Because I think they got some real big, real smart plans in the pipeline. That is actually, I'm gonna upgrade my legacy NFT as soon as that is available. I like those extra votes. It's very nice to get the extra downlines and to compound a little bit more aggressively, but and obviously the return, the BUSD returns, but those DAO votes, they're gold. I really can't wait for that DAO group and just to be a part of the future of ARK. How you feeling about the launch tomorrow, you the man? In the house. How are you, sir? Wow, tough crowd tonight, guys.
Wait, was that directed at me? Who was that? I couldn't hear it. Cut out.
Yeah,
You
we were
are
talking about you,
one.
Lon.
How you guys doing?
Doing good. You get that Christmas tree?
Yep, I did. I'm just stringing it up right now with the wife, doing a little Christmas tree wrestling, if you will.
And if you look in the channel, you can see my Christmas tree. We just got through decorating it this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw that. It's very nice. And I also too share the sentiment with like SK about that app, man. I think the app is going to be the game changer, along with a lot of the people who have been here since phase one. I think, and I know people like Chris and Rude and some of the real OGs. It really matters the team. So getting to know the team, as long as some of the people who've been around from phase one, as well as we have, and on that personal level and understanding, the way that they kind of work and operate, and then being able to onboard, your family and friends. I think it's just that extra level of confidence that's going to give me, and I'm sure many other people, like Brad was saying, when you go out of your house, it really gives you the confidence to be able to onboard people in a way that I don't think has really been available thus far.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, if you're a non-crypto investor and you need to learn about ARK, then it's a complex system. There's a lot to learn, but before you even learn about ARK, if you've got to go through these barriers of learning about MetaMask and onboarding fiat and then crypto.com and whatever else, Binance, it's by the time you get to talking about ARK, the person you're speaking to is completely bamboozled because they've just taken in loads of new information and their brain's still trying to get still trying to get their head around that stuff. And then you want to talk about ARK. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. So I think that the team, reverse engineered the whole platform and looked at the end and worked their way back to the beginning and took as many barriers out that they could. And that mobile app for me is certainly removes the most amount of barriers. It's from someone who's got lots of non-crypto friends, like nobody that I know is involved in crypto. So, but they're interested. Everyone's interested in making a passive income. So yeah, it's huge, and I can't wait for that. It's such a key play from the team. They've really pulled it out of the bag with that.
Yeah, man. For me, a lot of my friends are kind of blue collar workers, welders, electricians, people like that. So, if I go to start trying to waste their time with some stuff like MetaMask and that type of shenanigans, it's not really what they want to be getting after in their free time, But to be able to just say, look, download this app, I'm going to airdrop you some coins, check out the power of compounding. And then, if you want to onboard yourself a little bit more, there you go. You can just get into it like that. So, I mean, that's going to be my technique, and just be gentle with it. But definitely, I'm ready to share the heck out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Another great starting place is the foundation, because non-crypto people, they keep their money in the bank, and it's really doing nothing for them in the bank. But the foundation's like a lower risk, higher reward than anything they're doing currently. So I think the foundation is also a good starting point for people who are a little bit weary of crypto, and most people who are uneducated about a subject are weary about it. And you can't blame them, because if you don't know anything about something, then obviously it's a learning curve and it can be quite daunting at times. So I think the foundation's a great place to start also. But the ARK, the vault is obviously the main component. But when I talk to people who have no idea about, not necessarily about crypto, but just don't know about ARK, I like to tell them there's 3 passive income generators inside the ecosystem. The main one being the vault, then the legacy NFTs, and the bond. So there really is, multiple facets and different levels to it, and different entry points. And legacy NFTs might not excite someone, but the bond does, vice versa. But I think everyone that you talk to will be heavily interested in the vault component. That is, the main part of the ecosystem and the most profitable part of the ecosystem. So, but there's different entry levels, and you can, start from, depending on the person you're speaking to, you can start from different angles, and you got to give them all of the information anyway. You have to educate people. So, but you don't want to give too much education in one sentence, because it's just, going to go straight over their head. So I like to take it slow and balance the, how much they're understanding and how much information I'm giving them at one time, if that makes sense. And then, of course, we've got the, the Ultimo partnership, which is, in my opinion, an absolute no-brainer. Not financial advice, but complete no-brainer, if you ask me. It's another platform that just removes barriers. So, partnership made in heaven, if you ask me. And Mr. I know you are a Ultimo. I don't know if you're part of the team, but I know you're a big supporter. You've been with them for a long time. Chris, also, obviously, I think you minted number 8 in the DAO.
did.
Yeah, nice. My OCD troubles me, and I know that I am one of a bunch of people who are waiting for that 250 NFT. So there's a bit of a race going on for that. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I miss it, but I decided after 250, if I do miss that, I'm not waiting, because I don't want to let it get low and then miss out completely, because I'd be gutted. So if I miss 250, I might just have to settle for 249, 248, 247, because I honestly think there's like up to 10 people who are waiting for that to mint. So it will there'll probably be a bunch minted around about that time. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Chris, did you want to go over your Medium article? Share your screen. Is that something you feel like doing?
No.
No problem. No problem.
I do a lot better talking about when we get on a particular topic and it just kind of flows. I'd feel odd reading that, or kind of go through it. I just the only thing I'd say about it is I tried to hit on enough parts so somebody would get a general understanding of everything that was involved with it, without going too deep with any one particular thing. My plan was to do that, and then to do subsequent articles on some of the different areas in the protocol itself. But this was more high level, quick run through, but at least get the basics.
It's really good. It's really good. I read it, word for word, the whole article, and most of the time when I'm reading stuff, I skim it and just pick up the bits that stand out. But I actually read it, from top to bottom. I thought it was really good, and surprising that it was your first.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Shame you wrote it just after the competition finished, though, eh?
Yeah, I wasn't so much concerned about being in the competition as I was trying to at least. What you did really actually inspired me to do it. writing your first article or two and getting some responses from people outside of your circle, and that saw it and wanted to know more. So that's really, that story that you told all of us is what prompted me to go ahead and just, I thought about it for a while, but it was like, but then after hearing that, it's like, okay, I've got a team, so I might as well be trying to build it out further. And we talked earlier, I don't have, neither one of us have a clue how to do YouTube videos, and you're going to attempt that. And I applaud you for it, but I'm going to stick with the written word for a little while. And if somebody needs a video, I'm just going to direct them to SK.
Yeah, SK
Hey.
doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to fly out to his house and he's going to teach me. No, I'm joking. I know that's excellent, Chris. I'm really glad, because that's the whole point of sharing these stories and testimonials. There's no bragging or anything like that involved. This is to try and motivate other people to go out and help themselves, which in turn helps the entire community. It helps the project. So that's really great to hear that motivated you to do it. And same for me. One of my team members sent me his first draft of a Medium article, and I'd written half of mine already and put it down like a couple of times. I'd started it, put it down, started it, put it down, and he sent me his. He just asked me to check it for him. He wanted me to fact check it, and I was reading it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." And he'd never written an article before either, and that actually motivated me to go out and do it. And now I've motivated you, and hopefully some other people that have listened to it motivated them, and then you motivate someone else, and before you know it, we've got a team of article writers, everyone picking up referrals, spreading that net, getting the word of ARK out there on the Medium platform. We've got SK doing videos and other people doing videos, so we need to cover the writing half of it.
Yeah, and it's I would just tell anybody that's writing it. I find that like I write better in the evening or late at night than I do in the morning or during the day. So I did it then, but then when I got done with it, I went to bed, and then the next day got up and read it again, and immediately went to making changes to it, and then I actually sent it out to a couple of people to kind of get some response from, and then I didn't get everything correct. I had a few errors in there, minor, but nonetheless. But the great thing, and I'd already published it. But the great thing about Medium is you can go in there and edit, make your changes, fix it, and it doesn't look like you went in there and fixed anything. So anybody else that reads it after that point, is going to see the altered version or the correct version. But I do want to bring like more of my experiences in crypto into part of the story that I try to tell. So I'll be working on that, over these next few.
Do you know what, Chris? That's crazy, because I did the exact same thing. I wrote all of my Medium articles after the podcast had finished, and like for example, now it's 12:30 at night for me. They often don't finish till 1, 2 in the morning, and I wrote them, didn't publish them, woke up the next day, read them again, updated them, and then I did actually publish them, and have, apart from the most recent one, because I sort of learnt from my mistakes, if you will, but I've updated all of them, the first one several times since it was published, just from the advice from some real hardcore medium writers like Patrick from Cryptozoa. He gave me some advice on the layouts and just how to make it look a little bit cleaner. I even changed the title of it after I published it, just because I thought, what's gonna catch people's attention. And so it's funny. I think that tends to be how it goes when you start these things. You learn as you go on, and people give you tips and advice, and as long as you take that on board, which you should, because that they've done it before you and been successful. So you should definitely take the advice of people who have already done these things. And and I updated them after they were published. And like you said, that's the great thing about Medium. No one will know that after you've done it, because it just you edit it and you republish it, and it doesn't even come down while you're editing it. So that's really great. And one bit of advice I'd give to people, especially with your first Medium article, because you can't keep telling your story, obviously, but it seems to be that the real successful ones is when you talk about your own experience, like you just said, Chris. And because my first Medium article, the first 3 to 5 paragraphs, I can't remember exactly, is telling my story before ARK and how I came to the point that I'm in ARK. And people resonate with those things. And my story, my life was interesting before, but it's real. If you just go straight into the hard data and the analytics, sometimes people just get bored. And we've seen that also with successful YouTubers like SK. He makes his videos exciting and keeps your attention, as opposed to other people who are a little bit flat and they're not as entertaining and they're just not as successful. And that's hard to do. It's not an easy thing to do at all. And that's why Patrick's one of the best Medium article writers, and SK is one of the best YouTube video makers, because you have to keep your audience entertained at the same time as educating them, and it's a tough skill. So reach out to the correct people and get the correct advice.
Yeah, SK definitely has a gift to be entertaining, as well as being able to explain, from an educational side, where it's really easy to comprehend. He knows the technical part of it, as good as anybody when he's doing that. But just the way he explains things. I remember the first time I had him explain something to me on drip, and it was like he had done a little AMA in one of his channels about it, and I was like, okay, when you get off of this, I'm getting in it. You're gonna walk me through it. I was driving out to the hunting land that we have, and it's about an hour and a half drive, and he went through it all the way while we were driving out there. And okay, you need to do this, and this is what it's going to do, and this is what how you want to do this, and he's held my hand through so much, probably more than he should have, but he does. He just it's a gift of being able to take something very technical and put it in plain, understandable language. And, then he's found a way to make it entertaining as well. So that's just a great combination. And why I'm not doing a YouTube channel, a YouTube channel.
Yes, there's big shoes to fill, hard steps to follow in, for sure. But I totally agree with you. He has that entertainment value, but then he just simplifies complicated stuff. I remember the first video that I watched of his, and it wasn't of a terribly complex system, to be honest. It was a fairly simple system, but I had no understanding of it whatsoever. because as soon as I was involved, I was pointed towards this video, and I didn't know who SK was, and it was like a 18-20 minute long video, and by the end of it, I knew that system by like the back of my hand, and he just has that ability to simplify complicated stuff, as you just said. But yeah, YouTube's a bit more scary for me personally than writing articles, just simply because I don't know how to use the technology involved. But I'll give it a go. We'll see where it leads, and I'll definitely be tapping SK for some help and some pointers, because he's, as far as I've seen, he's the best. There might be some other people who are equally as good, but they don't have that entertainment value, and that's the hardest thing for me. How do you make a video entertaining and simplify it without copying SK? Because you can't just go out and do what he's done, because he has a very unique way of doing it. So finding that approach to it will be the hardest thing. But I've got a couple of ideas, and we'll see how they turn out.
I could see where yours might have a lot of gym references.
Well, nail on the head, bro. That is so. Yeah, I mean, that was that was one of the ideas I was having, but I'm not gonna talk about it, because without seeing it, it would just sound so stupid. But yeah, for sure, that is one of the avenues I've been considering.
Yeah, I think whether it's writing an article or doing the YouTube thing, you gotta do it from a place that you come from, because that involves your experiences, and it also allows the people that are watching or reading to understand a little bit better about how you think and your process of working through something, which everybody's is different. But a lot of times, if we realize how somebody's going about their process, it makes us, able to understand or use part of their process in our own. And so I think, tapping, from experiences that we have or other things that we're knowledgeable and incorporating that into them is going to make for a more natural story or video.
Oh, I totally agree, mate. I totally agree. It has to be organic. It can't be fake, because it won't resonate with people, and people will notice that. It will, there'll be an awkwardness about it, especially with a video. It will be very, very apparent, and that is why you hit the nail on the head when you said, I'm sure there'll be lots of gym references and stuff in there, because that is where I came from. That is part of who I am, and that will be like my honest approach is the wrong term, but that will be my natural approach. Yeah, so that's why I've been thinking along those lines. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, mate. It was very well done.
We have Mr. Z in the house.
All
Welcome,
right.
Mr. Z.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while. The Wi-Fi is better now. Can you guys hear me just fine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. So I'm just catching up to everything now. Um, how's things going? I've been missing a bunch of phone calls because like the Wi-Fi has just been really really bad where I am, but I'm back in Europe, so I will be more active.
Well, we're glad to hear that.
Mm, yeah, a bunch has been going on like in DeFi right now. There's a bunch of things I want to talk about, but I think I'm gonna give it a good 24 hours till I get my time clock right, because yeah, Asia and England have a big difference of, I think, 5 to 6 hours.
How was your trip, bro?
How was the trip? Yeah, it was fascinating. I was able to kind of go back in time and also go forward in time. It's pretty interesting. I had a pitch stop in Singapore. So I went from like, so Multan is a like a historical city in Pakistan, and I was able to like go through like the Mughal and the Ottoman Empire there, and then go straight into like advanced technology, and you know like fast trains and modern-esque structures in Singapore. But now I'm in England. So yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, the other thing is like, so it's like about 15 to 16 degrees Celsius in basically Asia where I was, and now I'm in England, which is like 3 degrees. So yeah, um a bit cold, but enjoying it. So I could build up to Christmas.
Bro, you must be getting heat off all those buildings, because I'm like 15 miles, 20 miles from you, and it's -4 degrees here, which is a huge difference in temperature.
Yeah. Let's say London has a bunch of, you can say, coatings, right? Like, so you have a bunch of tall buildings, and the highways sort of stretch out, whilst in Watford you have a lesser population, lesser buildings, more nature nurture. So you're gonna feel the winds there, and yeah, it does get, it's pretty cold right now. So it's gonna take me a couple of days to like climatize to this temperature. Yeah, I think it's gonna take a couple of days. I'm still like in 15 degrees where I was, and 5 hours ahead. So yeah, and in my clock right now it's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning, but it's just quarter to one in England right now. So yeah, a bunch to climatize to.
Yeah, keep yourself wrapped up for the first few days, mate, because you know, don't want you getting sick. We need you in that house.
Z, we need an update. What is happening with the BNB situation with CZ and all that?
Oh, the withdrawals, because I was kind of reading about that. Uh, down to it, man. Like, the way I see it, because when you have a bunch of pending orders, it's just like trading. Things sort of go sideways. It's something I need to like understand much deeper, so I don't want to make any comments on it. Um, but yeah, it's something like, with the way the markets react to these kind of things, you have to let it like sort of play out. And we know that like the technical charts, the candlesticks are, you can say, like they're basically, you can say, mirrors of people's like emotions, and that's what we leverage trade at such levels. So I need to do much more research on it. As I said, I just got back. But from tomorrow, we're gonna have real active discussions and build ups of not just CZ situation, but there's a few other things in DeFi that are pretty interesting.
Well, we look forward to those updates, sir.
No, same here, man. I miss the crowd. I miss like being able to. I think, yeah, I think down to it, there's a bunch of opinions out there, and sometimes folks need an opinion where it's honest, and it's sort of, it's not built on sort of set pieces. and you want to. So with me, like I have a way of like looking into the smart contract and looking into what's been said out there, and and most things like most sort of YouTube videos are based on opinion pieces, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them but I sort of have I guess others as well, other bloggers and stuff have a way of you can say archiving information and making sense of it. But I have my own style of looking at things. So yeah, man, we're back. We're gonna be doing a bunch of these really late night sessions and you know having ARK updates as we are, but also having an overall look into the macro of what's happening in the market, because I think it's especially at these times it's the most you can say most important as folks are in a emotional state, physically, mentally, not just in the crypto market, but like overall. We're leading to Christmas, and usually in crypto at this time, we're used to crypto winters, and we're looking for higher highs. But the world right now is in a place where energy crises are in swings. Could I say it's artificially created that way? And we're all like sort of leading towards Christmas. So there's a bunch of updates that we can look into from like the traditional finance side of things, and also what's happening in crypto. Um, and like my opinion will always stay that when things are, you can say, bearish, the first things that sort of get hit uh, on a leverage level for a short or long would be risky assets. So the tech 100 companies. I have an eye on cryptocurrencies as well. The top 10 tokens, and am I buying the dip right now? Not yet. I want to see if more pain comes, because the way this game works is like you get an update like it happened with crypto.com not long ago, where they were where people were scared that withdrawals will be halted. And I think that's the sort of a narrative right now, where when a withdrawal is sort of halted for even, let's say, a few hours or 5-6 hours, that can make it to crypto Twitter, and then people leverage that. Uh, and it's not the first time we've seen it. We've seen it happen many times in the past. So yeah, just fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be heavy month of December, leading into Christmas, and then into January. So I'm looking forward to it. How's everyone feeling though? How's the feeling? Like I mean, we got Chris in the house. We got Brad. We got everybody here.
Yeah, I personally, I don't know. I take a different view to seeing BNB or Ethereum or Bitcoin go down. It starts going down. I'm like, yes, go down more, because I just see it as a better buying opportunity. I know it'll eventually go back up. I'm not concerned so much as to when it'll go back up or how long it'll take. But yeah, I'd be tickled to death if it dropped to $1,000 a Bitcoin. I know a lot of people would be unhappy, but I'd be able to get a lot more of it if it did.
Yeah. The way it works is sort of, if you are looking for a short term sort of gain, then yeah, it could be a bit of a delay. But if you're looking from a long term point of view, and a bunch of people do have a diversified wallet where they'll buy a bunch of Ethereum, some BNB, and just lock it up for the next 6 months, next year. And if that's the approach you have, then yeah, cryptocurrencies are going to give you a gain overall. And me myself, I'm waiting. I don't know why, but I feel Bitcoin can go lower. and basically because because I'm a technical trader as well at heart, and I think if this thing can go even lower, then that could be a buying opportunity. So yeah, I thing is like with me, I'm always in because I leverage these moves as well. So I'm in three mindsets, but I enjoy that, the life of a trader.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about, or you have talked about before, about diversification, and that's kind of, I'm not I'm not going to buy, uh, or wouldn't be buying Bitcoin necessarily for a short-term thing. I don't know enough about it to do any kind of leverage trading, so I know better than to try to do that. But um, I can take $1,000 and make a lot more money off of an altcoin or a meme coin or something like that than I could off of Bitcoin, say over the next 6 months. So if I was to buy any Bitcoin, um, or Ethereum, yes, Ethereum and BNB are a little different, because there's you have to use that for gas as well on those chains. But
Mhm.
um, I would be definitely, the only reason I would buy Bitcoin would be if it got really low, and I would buy it, lock it up in a ledger, and see what it looked like, a year or 2 years from now. Now, if I bought it at $8 or $10 or $12,000, I would pull it out of that ledger. If it got up to 60,000 again, and sell it and wait for another dip. But that's even at 10,000, that's a 6x, 7x on your money, and you can do that with so many other in DeFi that it's just that would just be sort of that long-term hold, or to say that because I'm so into crypto that it would be awesome to say I owned at least one Bitcoin.
Absolutely. So the first round of folks that bought the dip on Bitcoin back in 2017 are sitting quite nicely on a good, let's say 10 to 15 to 20 to 30x. But the folks that like took profits and you can say DeFi, are actually on a, you can say 50 to 100x to 200x, and some of them are 500x. So there are plenty of opportunities, and that's why we have. Um, and then I think what happens is then it comes to a point where I think DeFi will get institutionalized as well, and we will have swings of good opportunities. So like if Ethereum goes from like let's say 1,000 to 2,000, 2x, and then 3,000, and then if you have a token like Chainlink that goes from like $6-7 to back to $47 or $100, then those are good swings. Those are good hodls. And I think folks will learn how to take profit and be able to multiply and diversify in more tokens, and we'll have them. We'll have the moments definitely. But I think it's going to be a sleeping giant for now, because just how the world's like conditioned currently, and how the sort of the economies are doing, and knowing that sort of the energy thing that we have sort of that we're going through right now in Europe. So we will see some sideways movements for a little bit. So I'm going to be analyzing a bunch of different things on the charts, on the fundamental level, and I'd like to have some like real deep conversations about it. So we're gonna have a good month ahead with a bunch of sort of viewpoints from me, and we can talk about these things. The reason I think it's really important to basically understand the fundamental side is especially right now, because everyone is sort of reactive Everyone wants to have a good Christmas and have a shopping sort of spree, and sometimes we gotta wait. We gotta wait for the right opportunities, because that's how Bitcoin went from, like, you can say that like the squeeze of like $200, $300, $400 all the way to like $1,000, and then it went to $6,000, and then from $6,000 went to $20,000, and then back to $5,000. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Currently, I think I'm looking for more leverage moves, and then maybe in January, February, we can start looking to buy some dips on a bunch of different tokens. I still think the metaverse is underrated. Uh, so I want to see how things like Sandbox, like Decentraland, uh, Mono Token, how they sort of bring in. But then there's a bunch of utility that's also been made in Web3 as well. When it comes to sports apparels, um, and basically counting our calories, and if we can sort of monetize that in a way where every step we take, we basically take a voting on the DAO. So there's a bunch of that stuff that I'll kind of focus on as well. So we're gonna have a good knowledgeable week, once my sort of time clock is in place.
Right. Yeah, I heard that some places in the UK were actually going to have to start doing some load sharing, like they're doing in South Africa.
Yeah, so I think Brad would sort of have more on that, but the way England's this whole country, it's based on imports. It's everything from like the energy sort of levels that we have. We don't create our own energy. We import it from Germany, from France, and right now we're looking towards that sort of like cold winter where yeah, we will be going through it, and load shedding is something I went through in Asia, which is and I've been experiencing it for the past like 6 7 years, where for like a couple of hours in the day you really have no energy, and it's pretty you can say humbling, but yeah. What's your opinion on the load shedding, Chris?
Well, I live here in the States, and it's in the South here in Georgia. We actually have, I think, 2 nuclear power plants in our state, and of course we have coal generating plants as well. And there is a lot of solar starting to go, like in the interstate. There's a 3-mile stretch of Interstate 75 that's nothing but solar panels, and it's probably I don't know, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 yards back off the interstate and 2 miles along the interstate. And there's several solar fields like that in the state. So we have fairly cheap energy, and plenty of it. We don't have the brownouts or the blackouts or any kind of rolling kind of thing here. If we have a it's a blackout of any kind, it's caused from a storm, or tornadoes, or an ice storm or something like that. So, of course we have generators. So as soon as the power goes out, we kind of, you can't light up everything with it, but you can keep the essentials going. But to have to deal with that, I know Malcolm, that's our managing director there at Bridge D5. He lives in Cape Town in South Africa, and since I've known them, they've had blackouts at least a couple of times a week. And actually now this past week they were having load shedding 4 or 5 different times during the day for a couple hours at a time. and it's so hard to live as we're accustomed to living. you know, and you might as well be camping.
Uh-huh. Absolutely, yeah. It's a thing. Like, it reminds me of a quote. Like, sort of, it goes like sort of, strong men bring strong times, and then weak men bring weaker times. And it's these sort of moments where, like, when we have the politicians that we have, or you can say the sort of bankers that we have, or you can say the type of stonemasons that we have, that we don't go outdoor as much as we do. We spend time on the screens more than ever. We used to spend a bunch of time on the television, and then when then we spent it on this on the screens, and we don't do the, you can say the natural stuff of like campfires and hunting and being outdoors, and basically, there's a bunch of societies that we don't look into deeper into, like that are like hunter gatherer type level. So when something happens in the world where we're like, okay, fine, there's a energy crisis, then we all sort of act on an impulse, and then if you have, let's say, load shedding, which is something in Asia, it's a natural thing, and there's parts of, like you say, like Florida, that go through it, but for Europe it's something new. No one's ever used to load shedding in Europe. So I'd like to sort of see how that sort of like corrects the market in a way, and seeing how it makes people like sort of take the physical route of chopping some wood, and starting a little bonfire. Um, so yeah, it's something pretty interesting, interesting times. But I wouldn't like, uh, yeah, I've got much more to say, so I'm gonna let my mind kind of come back to England Standard Time, GMT, and then I'll have a better opinion.
Hey Z, I think that quote you were thinking about was hard times build strong men, strong
Yes,
men make good times create weak men.
yes, there we go. Beautiful.
And it couldn't be more true. And I think it's just a testament to I myself am a young father, and I try to think about those things as, with what you're talking about, and coming around into some interesting times when people are going to have to deal with things that they haven't had to deal with in a long time, so I think everything you just said is really important, even outside of crypto, so yeah.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. No, it is. It's true. It's true. The reason I say that is because, hey, dude, I'm like anybody here. I obsess over the computer screen, and when you do that, and then when you go through the traveling I've done, and go back to nature, and go into the woods, and go into the Himalayas, and you see the people that live in high altitudes, and you spend, like the first thing you go through is fear. And as we were sort of going through the SBF sort of debacle, and going through, and trying to bring down centralized exchanges quite a bit, that's the time I was like spending time with the natives, and I think I was really honest about how I felt. It was tough in the beginning. It was cold, but then the locals taught me how to stay warm, and basically I learned how to use, like I haven't chopped wood in a long time. It's something I would do in America when I was a young kid. So I've been doing it after like say 20 years. I was chopping wood. I was herding sheep. I was doing a bunch of active time. So even my sort of impulses from the charts kind of moved away, and those were the kind of things I had to do to stay warm. Because if I didn't do that, then I would have like had to go back into the city life, and I was like, I needed to like know how the natives worked in Pakistan, and Nepal sort of side, the mountain view. So now that I sort of been in the city, and getting back into like looking at the market structures and stuff, um yeah, it's weak times for folks, and but it's these cold winters that kind of get the impulses going, and it's for us to. I mean, you can be an investor, a trader, or a father, um, and you have to be optimistic, knowing that the opportunities to like either buy the dip, like Chris is talking about, or leverage trade a move. These are these most times, and I think us as in our community will go through it, and I think crypto itself will be going through a bunch of it because like we're trying to look into like BNB a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna go through it. We're gonna be optimistic. We're gonna like look at the bigger picture of things. We're not gonna take opinion polls on an article or a YouTuber's opinion. We're going to look at the quants. We're going to look at how much TVL or how much total value locked towards an ecosystem, or we're going to look into a chart, or we're going to look at Joe Biden's comments because he seems to be influenced quite a bit almost every day of the week. So yeah, a lot to look forward to, but yeah, I missed it. I missed all of you. It's been like I think three weeks since I made an active call, but we're gonna have some heavy sessions. So do grab that coffee.
Those are addictive, and we're really looking forward to that. You know that, right?
Absolutely. We're gonna have some real good sessions and just be talking about everything. I mean, we'll have the ARK updates for sure. We'll have the ARK updates, but we're also gonna have a bunch of things that I think we got to look at the macro level as well, because yeah, I just feel like right now we're acting really impulsive to like just everything, and but that's just like it's like people act like it's not happened before. So hopefully, um, I'll be able to show it from a technical level, and show how that like it's just history repeating itself constantly. And that quote about strong people bringing strong times, and sort of right now we're in the weak people place right now where uh, where, where we have to build strength and basically have better experiences in the market level or physically, mentally. And when we're challenged as a society at a economical level, at a level where new things are sort of striving, we're going to go through storms. And but that's when we have to be much more aware and not to act impulsively. That's why we become smarter at what we do. So yeah, looking forward to it. Right now, if anyone asks me any opinions on what's happening in DeFi right now, it's my brain's in a foggy place. But hopefully, some good vitamins, some good shilajit, some good minerals, sort of kick in, and then we can really talk about things tomorrow. But it's great to be back.
Good to have you back, sir.
Hmm.
I'm very
Yeah,
glad to have you back, Z. And don't go anywhere. You're gonna be here tomorrow, right?
I'm gonna be here tomorrow, day after, and the day after, and the day after. I'll be in Europe.
Excellent.
Yes, sir. I'll be in
Excellent.
Europe for the next 5 to 6 months. So hopefully, good Wi-Fi continues, and that's the first halt I had in Asia where they're still building up. You can say solar. Like I think Chris has mentioned solar energy. So I got to see a bunch of that development, but we're still far off good Wi-Fi in Asia. So that was a real struggle to not have good Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
Well,
Good
like the
time.
guy said, see, great to have you back, and we look forward to tomorrow evening.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Brad, just on a personal note, how you keeping warm?
Say again, bro.
I'm saying, how you keeping warm with the weather?
I was saying this earlier. I'm wearing a hoodie with my dressing gown over my hoodie, and with my dressing gown hood up as well, and it is still bitter.
um, did you ever do the ice bucket challenge, or sort of do cryotherapy?
I did ice baths semi regularly, but that was like, I don't know, like probably a year before COVID was a thing. So probably like 3 years ago. Um, it is very, very good for the body. Uh, it becomes, as you probably know, it becomes easier and easier the more you do it. But the first time you get in an ice bath, it is a tough thing for your body to accept. It is not nice. But then after 4 or 5, it certainly becomes a lot easier. I never enjoyed it. Some people like actually enjoy it, which I have never enjoyed, but it does great things for the body, and you definitely feel the impact of it after you warm yourself up again. But yeah, it's not something I miss, if I'm honest. I did it for training when I was seriously into training, but I don't miss it, Z. I won't lie.
No, absolutely. It's not like a pleasurable scenario, but the point is, it basically breaks a bunch of you can say backlogs that we have in our systems. It's so when you put your body in through sort of an ice bath or cryotherapy, it basically rejuvenates a bunch of other things as well. So I think currently a bunch of folks need to go through it because I went through it last month a little bit, and now I'm sort of in not like a hoodie or anything, but I'm just not even a t-shirt, but yeah, I'm not like crying over it, because some of my friends, they live in Canada, and Canada goes down to, like, you can say, if we talk about Celsius, down to -40. And yeah, so when I was in Asia, I was able to meet people that sort of reside there, and then learning that made me feel like a wuss. I was like, dude, when it's like 3 degrees in England, we make a fuss of it. So he's like, yeah, we need hard times to basically have better times. and I think we're gonna kind of go through that.
You're not wrong, bro. When I used to train, I was much more adapted to the cold weather, and I just have completely lost that now. And I am like you, just I'm a wuss when it comes to the cold. I don't mind admitting it, but it's not a good thing at all. But yeah, you once you do a course, let's say, of ice baths, if you've ever done them, you feel the cold so much less after. I don't mean directly after. I mean, like permanently after. And I'm not saying you do 3 and that's it, you don't feel the cold anymore. But while you're in that phase of doing that in your life, you don't get cold. You just do not feel the cold. I went from
I would do that. I would do that. Never.
it's not nice, bro. But I didn't do it through. So I did it for recovery. I had a gym injury, shoulder injury, and being a personal trainer, I wanted to do everything I could to recover as fast as I could without then risking further injury, because that's a big gym mistake is thinking that you're recovered, and the difference a week can make towards the end of an injury. It can change everything, and a lot of people come back and train before they're ready, and then you can actually permanently damage yourself. But anyway, so being my business being personal training, I wanted to heal as quickly as possible, and someone who I have the utmost respect for in that field of work suggested to me that I should I should start ice baths. He is a monster of a man, and completely natural, and he takes ice baths. He started ice baths. I mean, you're talking 5-10 years ago now, and he's never stopped. And he swears by it. It helps with the immune system. It helps with recovery. It helped him to sleep better. And I tried it thinking this is just a lot of nonsense. It's freezing. It's just freezing cold. I know there's benefits to making your body cold and then getting back to regular body temperature quickly. But I thought, how's this going to heal me? And it really does. Like it makes a huge difference to the healing process. As I said, I stopped feeling the cold like I did before. I went from wearing, jumpers and coats to wearing sleeveless t-shirts and feeling comfortable. It really makes a huge difference. And then the only gym in my area I don't even know where the next closest place is that do that actually closed down. And that is the reason that I stopped. And as soon as I stopped, it was a couple of years ago, because as I said, it was before COVID, so I don't know time frame exactly, but within a couple of weeks, I started to feel the cold. I started wearing more clothes. Before I knew it, I was wearing a coat, and now I'm back to being what I call a cold kid. I feel the cold so bad. So they're amazing. They really work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, the point is, that you have to go through a bit of struggle, especially when you're enforced to basically go through it at a weather condition level. So when I was in, you can say, the Himalaya side things, these folks are conditioned to walk up high altitudes, to get their bread and butter, and that's why they, like, if the weather temperature keeps falling, they're the ones that would situate to live, to be able to go through it. And I think that's when we have to do the ice bath, or we have to be able to do things that we haven't done before. And I think in crypto, I had a friend that tweeted out how many people understand technical analysis, and I think he did a voting poll, and I think 70% of folks actually, like, don't know how to read charts. And that's and that's not surprising, because crypto is still really young, and sort of traditional finance has been there for quite a few decades. So I think that's what happens when we go through the kind of price actions that we have currently. The other thing I'm going to be talking about a little bit is the Shanghai hard fork on Ethereum, because what that means is folks that sort of stake their Ethereums, um, will be able to unstake. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that sort of hits price action. So I'm going to be talking a bit, some boring stuff. I think people will go through it this week with me when we go through the technical sides of transaction rates, and then also how that impacts the market conditions. So I'm expecting a bunch of some bears for like a few months, but then but these are the kind of moments that we need, guys. We have to look forward to them and not be resisting them, and the same with the cold, the same with market conditions. We will take it an hour a day, or you can say a day in a week, and basically um and that's the difference about the community we have here, where we want folks to understand ecosystems better, not let price action dictate their emotions, but to like see where the opportunities are, from a leverage point of view, from an investor point of view, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna because I'm already predicting that when the hard fork happens, the Shanghai hard fork, and people will be able to unstake, then some folks will be wanting to take profit, and it's gonna dip price. But that's what we need to like bring in new investors. Uh, I think that's another side where you could say, because in traditional finance we're not able to do the order book. So when price action dips, in fact it sort of resets the game in a way where a bunch of newcomers come in and then rejuvenate the market to make its next rally. And there's times where we go through stagnation, and then we have drops in prices. So I expect that to happen in for Ethereum for sure, because I think Ethereum is something to really look into. So yeah, so it's just like how you can say how we see in DeFi, how pre-sellers get their tokens, and then we have a dip in price, and then we have gains. So I'm going to be talking quite a bit about that. I can basically get lost with speaking to you guys. How long have I been talking for, Brad?
About an hour, bro. But that's actually a good point. I think we'll just open it up quickly to see if anyone's got any questions, and if not, we can close the recording. We can sit here and hang out for as long as we want, but let's keep some of this alpha for tomorrow when we've got more of an audience. See, has anybody got any questions or comments before we close the recording for the evening?
I'll just go even super macro to what Z was saying, and I think you and I had a personal conversation maybe yesterday about this, Brad. Is just hard times, struggles, whether it's in the market or in your life. It's when, if you hunker down, you build knowledge, you accept the data that's being given to you, whether it's good or bad, because that's knowledge, regardless of how you take it, grow. And then, like Z was saying, after the hard times, whether it be the market or for myself, I'm a farmer. Sometimes you have bad years as a farmer. You got to be resilient, push forward, and sooner or later you're gonna have that regrowth. You know what I mean? So from the micro to the macro, I think it's really important to look at times when it's hard as growth, and make sure that you do that growth, so then you can reap the rewards when the growth is then there in front of you.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. Totally agree. It's it's how you deal with these things that really shapes you, and you can't let things get on top of you. So, no, you're completely correct. Anybody else want to comment or ask a question?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I might have missed that, but what was the reaction of Get Your Ace? I wanted to ask him while he was here when he learned that he won.
Oh, he was stoked, bro. He didn't believe me. He thought I was joking. I won't post it. It's not fair. But he didn't believe me. Thought I was joking around. So he was very very happy. He put the work in. He wrote 4 Medium articles in quite a short period of time, and they were all organic and not just copy and paste in the white paper. They were all educational and well thought through, and he was very very happy, bro. It's a great question. We should have got his response when he was here. Perhaps
Yeah,
we will.
I didn't know if we missed that. Like if we asked him on the VC, because like it was one lucky day for Get Your Race.
It certainly was. It certainly was. When I see his name come up the third time, I thought, you're kidding me. But no, it's excellent.
Question: was he on the podcast before or no?
Was he on the podcast before? Do you mean this evening, Udaman?
Oh, the guy who won the prize. Maybe
Sorry,
it'd be a good
you're really
yeah, it'd be a
quiet.
good idea. It'd be a good idea. Some of the winners come up in the podcast and then say thank you and then the experience they had. So that'd be awesome.
Yes, definitely, Uderman, you're right. And I wanted to ask him because he was here earlier. We'll probably do that maybe tomorrow too.
Yeah,
He
that's a
won.
great idea, guys.
He won for his article, and he also won 2 times in the draw. So definitely the luckiest guy yesterday.
Yeah, that's a great idea, guys. Maybe we'll do that when we give out the prizes. Because like Udaman said earlier, I sort of agree with the sentiment that there's no point in what's the point in giving away the prizes when the people aren't here, because it should be like an interactive thing. You've done this article, you want to speak about it, here's your prize, well done, because there needs to be some form of interaction about it. But so yeah, I agree. We'll liaise with Atlas SG, find out when exactly we're going to be giving the prizes away, and then we'll try and get as many of the winners in the VC that day.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for attending this evening, and thank you for anybody else listening to this at a later date. Big day tomorrow. There'll be updates in the chat as and when. We're expecting the launch at 12 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. UTC. We will have the VC open all day for any questions and queries. So come and join us, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Good night.